Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. I might need to turn my mic. There we go. I might need to turn my video on. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of How the Ball Bounces. Welcome to another episode of How the Ball Bounces. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem, but what I'm going to do is go around, give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. And from that, we're going to have our conversation. So let me start at my top right to my right. Rico, tell everybody who you are, brother, and where you're hailing from.
I'm Rico Jackson. I'm from Anniston, Alabama.
Good deal, good deal. And down below him, we have John. John, tell everybody who you are, brother, and where you're hailing from.
Yeah, man. John Jackson here, man. From New Orleans, Louisiana, living in Atlanta right now, man.
Good deal. And to your right, my left, your right, Terry. Tell everybody who you are, brother, and where you're hailing from.
What's up, guys? I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm here in Blythewood, South Carolina.
Good deal, good deal. Y'all know this is how the ball bounces. This is how the ball bounces. We talk everything that's sports. We talk everything that's sports. So let's kick this thing off, man. First thing I want to talk about I would say this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, if you will. The tragic situation that happened in Pittsburgh. The tragic situation that happened in Pittsburgh, man, with Haskins. John Kickasaw, brother. When you found out, man, how did that impact you? How did you feel about that, man? Young man, 24 years old.
Yeah, I think if you look at his future and what he had, lined up for the potential he had for the future, I think it's just sad all the way around, man. He was a high pick. He had a lot of future. He sort of stumbled in his first couple of seasons, but I think in the long run, man, he would have got with the right coach. He would have got on the right team in the right situation. He'd have been great. But life isn't always perfect, right? So sometimes things get thrown at you kind of funny, and you have to deal with them. But as far as like potential, he had all the tools, man. Tall, strong arm, everything you
Mhm.
needed, right? Everything you needed. And it's just a sad situation, man. Just a sad situation.
Exactly, exactly. Terry, what do you say about that, man? You're an ex-professional athlete yourself, man, and I know there's a fraternity there. So what do you think is like, man, with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the league right now losing that young man?
I don't know, man. I can't speak for the league. I can tell you, when my family lost my first cousin Reggie Lewis, who was the captain of the Boston Celtics, in his
Hmm.
untimely death. It's hard to even still wrap my head around that he's not here. You see images of him from the old games that they were playing. Michael Jordan spoke of him as being one of the most difficult guys that he had to try to score against. um, it was surreal when I first heard about it because I was playing ball in Australia when he died, and I ended up changing my playing number to his number in honor of him, and it's
Hmm.
still hard to believe. So I'm thinking about the family. Truck, we called him Truck. He was like 27 years old when he passed, and so just 3 years older. And when you start looking at a young man who had great potential, the family is now depending on other people. It's a lot of things to take in. I just feel for the family, brother. I know I'm babbling on, but it made me reflect on when we lost my cousin. You really never really get over it.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Rico, talk to me, brother.
The same thing, man. I mean, I wouldn't want to speculate on how that went down. And that happened in Florida. Even though he played in Pittsburgh, that happened down in Florida.
Hmm.
But once again, like Terry said, man, it's about um, sort of hating to see that he didn't get a chance to reach his full potential.
Hmm.
I mean, I know quite a few people brought up the point. I think Adam Schefter brought up the point about the struggle that he had as a pro, and to a certain extent, they probably shouldn't have bashed Adam like that because this the way this happened, it actually could have been an immature thought process, or maybe he had a mental episode. He could
Hmm.
have had a mental breakdown, but at the same time, when you look back on his career, you wonder if this was just another situation where he just wasn't mature. Um, was he lacking guidance, and was that the reason why he was struggling, and because of decisions like that to try to cross the interstate? Because that is something that most times you see a person of that stature, you would think they would have enough common sense to say I wouldn't cross that interstate. So it,
Wow.
it makes you wonder, what was he going through? Was he just having a lapse in judgment? Like I said, an immature thought process. And at the same time, it's so sad because he was 24 years old and he had this potential. I mean, it's not like he's the average person, but he actually had the potential to become a Super Bowl champion, MVP. He could do so many different things from his platform. And so when you see somebody has that potential to be great, then it sort of bothers you to see that they lose that opportunity at such a young age.
Absolutely. Chris, Todd, good evening, sir. I'll tell everybody who you are, brother, and where you're hailing from.
Christopher Todd, I'm out here in Lawrenceville, Georgia, 20 minutes north of downtown Atlanta.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I'm in
sir.
Lawrenceville.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
How you gentlemen doing this evening?
Hey, doing good, brother. We're
Good.
talking about Haskins.
Good.
We're talking about Haskins and an unfortunate situation that happened with him to lose his life at 24 years old, man. And I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler. I've been a Pittsburgh Steeler forever, man. And I think I was hoping there was going to be an upside when he was going to be able to come in, and Tomlin and the team was going to be able to get him to where he needs to be in regards to his career. And that is a system in Pittsburgh that I think he could have really benefited from. What do you think about what happened?
Well, let me go back and say a few things. Pick up what Rico, I think that was Rico said. When your thought process, you know how it is. If you've been an athlete and he was young, so you think you're invincible. He was crossing the road thinking that he can get across the road. That's how you think. The athlete, when you're an athlete and you're in your top condition, mind, body, and spirit, man, it ain't too much you don't think you can do. Those guys came out and bashed Adam Schefter, man, because no matter what a black man goes through, this was his death, but they always they find the negative tip. They find something negative to put into the light of a man's death. So yeah, even if he struggled, but was he really struggling because he was still young? I don't know if he was out there in Washington, wasn't he? And I don't know if he was with the right people to fully develop his talent yet. But he still had an opportunity because he was young.
Yeah.
They did the same thing when Kobe Bryant died. They interviewing people and they started bringing up where he had a rape charge and stuff. So, what the spin the media put on a black man is going to be different from what they put on anybody else, whether he here or in his death. So we have to be careful about how we watch how they will do us. Whether he was struggling or not, like I say, he hadn't played enough games in professional football to me to say was he struggling or not, But when you come out and you have all that potential and you look that good in college, they think it automatically transfers to the pro. And if you don't do it, then you're struggling, but you haven't gotten a depth to the game yet.
Exactly. I'm gonna tell you something.
I was heartbroken because of, that man had put his, to get to that level, it take your whole life to get to that level. The train and the things you have to go to and all that stuff. We see enough young black men lose their life senselessly every day about nothing.
Yeah.
So
let me do this, and John, I'm coming to you with this, brother. To say that he didn't reach his full potential, a lot of times I looked at his numbers in college. Man, his numbers are amazing in college, and we all know that the college and the pro game is totally different. It's totally different. It's two different levels, certainly. But do you think sometimes when those guys have those great careers in college, they come to the pros and they throw them to the wolves too early? Do you think he was thrown to the wolves too early, or do you think he should have had a little more time to develop to the point where he could have gone and managed the game better?
For me, it's different for each person, right? So for me, it's so think about this. I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. Think about Drew Brees in San Diego. Think about Drew Brees under Sean Payton in New Orleans. Completely different players, right? You take Haskins, put him in the right situation as a rookie, as a 10-year vet, it doesn't matter. In the right situation, the right coaching, the right system put around him, he would have flourished. Like if he struggles with check downs, if he struggles with certain reads, if he struggles with certain things, make it a play action, make it more of something else, make it fit his needs. And I don't think in Washington they did that. You give him the right offensive mind, the right offensive coach, the right OC. I think even as a first year player, he would have came into the right system. So I think it's just different for different people, man. And I think like the first picks in the draft at quarterback, they usually go to a bad system.
Yeah.
So that's the unfortunate thing about Haskins, and that happened with Andrew Luck. That happened with Peyton Manning. That happened with a bunch of people, and they just had to deal with those first couple of issues, those first couple of years, and then they flourished after that. And I think Haskins would have flourished under Tomlin, man. I think he would have flourished. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that.
Exactly. Rico, what do you feel about that, brother? How do you think that system that the Steelers have would have helped him, or would it have hindered him?
I'm not going to say it would have hindered him. I'm going to say it would have put him in the best position to make the best decisions he could have made. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force him to drink. See, this would have proved whether or not he was one of those guys that appreciated the opportunity and finally matured into the fact that he can be this person, or if he was just going to be one of those other athletes that we know of that really just, since they got money and they are out of college, they're their own man and you can't tell them what to do. We do have ABs. We do have Odell Beckham. You get what I'm saying? We have some very immature young men, very rich young men that are very immature, and they get caught up in the fame and the glory and the glam, and they get distracted by all this other stuff. So and that's a sign of maturity and immaturity. You have the TOs that they got. To me, I thought T.O. was a good person, a good player, but he was misunderstood. So you have those different individuals and personalities, and then you have the fact, like what C. Todd said, the fact that you're black, they're already looking for you to just have one excuse to put you in that category. So, he probably could have. I'm not going to say he would have. I don't know his upbringing. I don't know what type of support system he had around him coming up. I'm pretty sure he had people on the team and in other places that talked to him that tried to get him to do things a certain way. And, he had bad interviews, but, regardless, this is so much bigger than football.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to get distracted on the point of the fact of what kind of effect he could have had or what he would have did, but I do think that to a certain extent, we might have to think with that Adam Schefter thing, was he bringing up the struggles because of the maturity and the fact that he may not have focused or tried as hard? Because, when you're on your own as a pro, you don't have them college coaches around you that's pretty much you got to pay attention to. You do your own thing. You richer than the coach. And so, I think, it may have been brought up to get people to think that, to open their minds to the fact that, okay, this might have just been a maturity and immaturity thought. Because like C-Todd said, you strong and you fast and you young. You could jump and dodge some things. But don't fool yourself into thinking you can cross a 7-lane highway or 6-lane highway when cars going 70. Supposed to be going 75, but some of them doing 95.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you trying to run across that thing and duck and dodge and think people going to hit on their brakes, man. That ain't nothing to play with on that interstate. So if he did think that being young, that goes to show you, even though he had that money and that potential, at 24 years old, he still had the mind of a 12-year-old to think that way.
Terry, what's on your heart, brother? I want to talk to you about this, and I want to transition over to that situation. And y'all know I'm a Tar Heel, man, and the way that we let that game slip away from us. We got to talk about that as well. But Terry, what's on your heart?
Well, as I was listening to everybody, I often try to personalize things because I play professional sports. I have professional athletes in my family. A lot of times we put things on the age of the individuals making a whole lot of money. Well, I've seen older people waste money and do stupid stuff. I never put it on that. It comes down to what you experience in life. No one ever say anything about the LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, all those guys who went into the league out of high school and had success. They didn't start off as world beaters. They had to mature. But to say they have to wait until they are a certain age to start doing this, we don't do that in anything else in life. When you have the ability to go to the next level, whether it's academic or athletically or whatever, the only time it gets scrutinized is when people of color do it. So it is about your support system. It is about what your family is used to. There's a lot of these young African American athletes are the first person in their family to even make it that kind of money. So it's not just the athlete who has to learn how to adjust to the money. It's their family members. Yes. Your mom. Sorry about that. We got family stuff going. So what I want to make a point about is that what we usually do is we put a lot of stuff on athletes that we don't want to put on a regular society, and it's not fair because to be honest with you, we focus on what we want to focus on, the negative. So there's a lot of people who went out there early, had to go through the rough patches, learn their way, but then when they had success, nobody say, oh yeah, everybody should go leave out of high school and do it. They don't want to do that because they don't want to endorse something that's going to make them lose a way to capitalize on people.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I just wanted to kind of say that I don't put it on the age as much as I say, what was their historical background as to where they came from, what they had to overcome, and who are they associated with? Because everybody needs to have that support system that when you start getting success, are they leeching or they leading? Because some people need somebody to say, hey, I don't care how much money you make. Don't forget where you come from.
That's good.
Y'all feel me on that?
Yeah.
Because like you said, even when the TOs and everything, sometimes you got to look at it. The ones that could tell you the right thing, they riding along with you. Sometimes they should be telling you, yo, chill out. You making a nuisance of yourself. Yeah. I know I told my people, I got a nephew that plays in the NBA. He ain't acting stupid because he been raised right.
Yeah.
And when he come home, he's still PJ.
Yeah.
Y'all feel me?
Yeah.
So I just say sometimes we just don't look at it from the perspective. They're human beings doing extraordinary things, but they still need to be treated like human beings. One more thing. Mike Tyson, you look at how he was.
Yes.
He needed Customato, but when Customato died, and then he started following the darn kings of the world, everything fell apart once he started changing the management. And so he would have been fine had he had somebody that still remembered what it is that had to keep this guy in check. I just wanted to kind of touch on that, y'all.
That's good. That's good. Loving that, brother. Loving that. Yeah. And the phone lines are open. If anybody, you got quite a few people that's actually tuning in right now. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you're more than welcome. Give us a call, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. I was ready to go to see Todd. I see him turn his camera. There you go. Todd, what's on your heart, brother? Todd, you there?
Unmute me.
No, he good.
Yeah. Todd, we're gonna come back to you, brother. We're gonna come back to you. Stay where you at. John, talk to me. What's on your heart?
About the Kansas Jayhawks or what? What are we talking about?
Well, man, don't say the Kansas.
I had to bring it up. You said you were Tar Heel. I had to bring it up, man. You asked for it. No.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Don't do it like that, man. Yes, sir. What happened? Was that a coaching issue? Was that a player? Because they had such a lead, man, and they were winning the game, and they was going on the right. It was in the right halftime. It was going in the right direction. Something happened, brother. What happened? Was it coaching? What happened?
Here's the thing. Kansas was an incredible defensive team the entire season. There's nothing you can say about that. Anytime you college basketball lacks the offensive firepower that the NBA does, obviously, right? So if you have a great defensive team, they can go deep into the tournament without elite NBA talent. So, but Kansas had both. Kansas had the elite NBA talent and the incredible defense. And I don't think any level of coaching, I wanted UNC to win because I'm a big fan of Hubert, right? Yeah. But I think if you look at the defense of Kansas, man, I saw them shut down 2 or 3 teams in the tournament, and I'm like, I don't see how anybody scores on Kansas. I just don't see it. And so that's why I wasn't shocked that Kansas got as far as they got, and I wasn't surprised that their record was what it was because of that defense, man. That's all. I'm just sticking with that. Yeah.
But a team like Carolina, we have history. You know, we supposed to be one of the elite. Rico, I ain't fooling with you, man. But man, we got scores, man. We know how to score. If we can't do nothing else, we can score. We play defense as well. But how did they just second half, man? They just totally just shut us down. And so I asked the question: was that a coaching issue? I know we don't want to bash him, but was that a coaching issue?
You don't. I don't think it's a coaching issue. I don't think so. I think UNC in the Final Four game and the semifinal, I think that y'all played one of the best games I've seen. Mm-hmm. Like Love played his butt off.
Yeah.
Your team just played so well. UNC did, and I think that was it because you guys were cold at certain points of the game against Kansas. Was it cold or was it Kansas's defense? Right? Because the way y'all scored against the team in the semifinals, I thought y'all were going to put up 120 points against Kansas the way y'all looked in the semifinals. But that Kansas defense, brother. So I don't think it was Hubert. I think you're dealing with 18-year-old men. So you're going to have ups and downs with 18.
Close the door.
You're going to have ups and downs with them. So I think it was just they ran into a brick wall, and I think Hubert did everything he could do. And your big man was injured. Yeah. That was a key piece. Like with that he was what? He was averaging what? 12 to 13, 14 rebounds a game. When he left, I said it was over. He got hurt in the semifinals, and I thought it was over for y'all too. And so without that big man, without your guards playing at an elite level, like y'all played in the semifinals, and Kansas's defense, Hubert couldn't do much. That's
the hands were tied. Okay. So Rico, had we had the big man, do you think the game would have been different?
I think it still could have ended up that way because the adrenaline and the momentum that North Carolina had in that Duke game, I didn't even expect them to come out against Kansas like they did. But they did. I knew it probably wouldn't be able to last that entire game, though. It's a possibility that it could, but not against Kansas' defense. See, I agree with John on that, man. I feel like it wasn't anything Hubert did. Now, he probably could have called a few more timeouts a little earlier and settled them down, got the momentum to slow down a little bit. But from the way I saw it, is that Kansas was the one that was out of whack and had to adjust. Based off of consistency and familiarity of what I've seen them do all year, this was abnormal for Kansas to be playing defense like that. So I sort of felt like when they came out in the second half, this could happen if North Carolina started missing shots and not getting certain rebounds, and that's what happened. That's what happened. They picked up where they dropped off at, but that's what Kansas had normally been doing all season. So they just had to get back in sync. Maybe they were a little nervous. Maybe they were overconfident. Maybe they thought, hey, North Carolina going to be tired, and we Kansas, we ain't got nothing to worry about. And they came in maybe a little lazy, and then after the second half, the coach probably had to get in that tail a little bit. The coaches had to let them know, get them familiar like Cuss used to do. You remember Kevin Rooney slapped Mike Tyson in the face. Pop!
Yeah.
I remember I saw that one fight, man. I thought Mike Tyson bite anybody's head off to touch him. Then Kevin Rooney got in his face and said, pay effing attention. Pop! I said, man, he slapped Mike Tyson. That's what a coach does, And I like when Terry brought that up about Cuss because Cuss pretty much did what a college coach does to his players. Cuss was pretty much Mike's overseer. He was his foster parent. Because when you send these players to college, the coaches become their foster parents, whether you realize it or not.
Absolutely.
But once they get to the pros, man, what can you tell me when I got all the money in the world and other people just giving me what I want when I walk in the door? You telling me I don't need to do this and that. Yeah. Sometimes it might not mean nothing. So that I like what he said too about the upbringing and the background, man. I mean, where you come from really shows what type of character you have and what character you have when you go into the league and get this type of money will prove what type of person you are after that. You won't get too power hungry or entitled.
Wow, that's good. See, Todd, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Well, if you remember the game, Kansas came out strong. And North Carolina came out slow. And by the end of the half, they got their groove. But what happened was Kansas big man got into foul trouble. Remember, the big man got into foul trouble, both of them. And we got the big lead. I'm a Tar Heel, die hard.
Yes, sir. Yes,
die
sir.
Hard.
You feel my pain, then, right? You feel my pain, brother.
Yeah. So I thought Hubert could have called a timeout when they got their run in the second half before it got out of hand. Before they got the momentum fully back. I thought he should have called a timeout and say, "Hey, they coming now. Y'all got to understand. They're not going to lay down for us because we got a lead." So I thought that was a little bit of the coaching. I know Baycott wasn't 100%, but I thought the effort that he gave was the best effort a man could get off a twisted ankle. You know, pulled a sprained ankle. I thought he gave the best effort a man could give off of an injury, coming off a game against Duke. You know, coming off of your absolute rivalry. So you know you had to leave everything on the floor against that team. So I think they did a good job. I think a few little adjustments, but I think at the end of it, Kansas guard them hit a few big shots, big threes late when you was trying to get the momentum back. When it got down there late in the game and the foul trouble didn't matter no more, the Kansas big man, the center, took it over. He took it over. He shut the boys down on that end, and they couldn't stop him on the other end. So,
Terry, let me ask you this, Terry, from your expertise and being in the game as you were. If you have a lead on someone like that at halftime, say 15, 20-point lead at halftime, and then the second half start, and they get that thing within single digits, can that make a team that was winning, that was leading, could that make them go into a panic?
It's a game of momentum. I played in a championship series in Japan. We had beaten this team the year before. It was a 3-game series, the best of 3. We won the first game. Second game, we up by 15 at half. All we gotta do is finish the game off. We champions. Man, look, at that level in a championship game, they got there for a reason.
Yeah.
So they went in halftime saying, "Yo, man, you know we ain't play our game. We can still do this because they're champions already."
Yeah.
It's different when you are down and you used to being down because you got a history of losing. So you believe you're gonna lose and you don't come back.
Yeah.
But Kansas is used to winning and they know they were not playing their game. On the other side, you Tar Heels. You talked about y'all history, but those guys ain't part of that history. They want to be part of that history. Nobody on that team had championships. All right. I don't make it about coaches because coaches don't miss shots. They don't miss defenses. They do make a decision on when they call timeouts and all that stuff. However, he could have called timeout earlier, but it wouldn't have made a difference. In that championship series that I was talking about in Japan, I actually spoke up and lost my job. It was a $250,000 job that I lost because I spoke up. I stayed up. Y'all know anything. If you lose a game, you don't get no sleep that night. You stay up and you watch the film and you dissect that film. So I knew exactly what I was talking about in that meeting. But what I didn't know or understand was the Japanese culture. You don't question authority, even if you're right.
Yeah.
So what I said is, hey, we could have used a timeout to break the momentum. I always believe you can break the momentum. However, there's another side of that ledger. Them dogs were hunting because they knew they didn't play good that first half. And like you said, when they already got a defensive pedigree, they knew they could stop them. All right. So I'm gonna say this. Yeah, you can look at the coach because you always look at the coach.
Yeah.
All right. But just like you don't blame a missed shot or a missed free throw on losing. There's other parts of that game that contributed to it. I was looking at the stats. Man, North Carolina outplayed them in a lot of categories. But they were 5 for 23 from the 3-point line. Their problem is they relied on the 3 too much. Had they not relied on the 3 so much, I don't think Kansas would have came back like they did because they turned those missed threes into fast break points, changed momentum, and then when it slowed down and got down to the end, like Todd said, the big man took over because it was no longer about foul trouble no more. It was about who's going to score. And if you're still trying to shoot threes, when it starts to get real pressure, they don't go in like they did in the first half.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say this for anybody that ain't never played a game. I've been in games where we came back from way back down, and I've been in games where we lost when we were way up. Nobody throws games. It's just a game of momentum. It's getting hot and cold. Referees can change how they call from the first half to the second half. Foul trouble plays a part. Injuries plays a part. It's just the way the game is, y'all. The best team won that night. If they play again, who knows? North Carolina might win again.
Hey, and Terry, it's funny because the closer you get to the end of the game, the more frantic this becomes.
Yeah.
So now here it is. You chalking up threes and you cold and passing up layups.
Yeah.
Those layups, 3 or 4 layups would have made the difference.
Yeah.
But you kept chalking up them threes.
Honestly, I look at that. I don't think Hubert told them to come there and jack up threes, but they were desperate. If they'd have just went on and went to the hole, at least see the ball go in the basket, even if it's just 2 or you're going to the free throw line, it stops the momentum. But when you shooting quick threes and you can't get in that transition defense set, and now they dunking and scoring on you, now they hitting threes on you, and you start looking at that clock, your whole mindset different now.
Yeah. Well, I think a piece or a part of that, and John, I'm coming to you with this. I think a piece or a part of that is because of the fact that the big man was not in the game and they couldn't feed him down in the hole like maybe they could have done or should have done had he been there. And that could have given him 2 points, and fouls. And I think it would have played a big part in it. But John, what do you say?
So we need to blame Steph Curry for young people today shooting threes like crazy because people are out of control. People that can't shoot are backing up 3 feet behind the line shooting threes. I just want to say that first. But the backup center for your Tar Heels was non-existent. So y'all put a stretch 4 to defend the Kansas's big man. So Hubert had a little bit to do with it because they didn't develop a backup center, and they had all season to do it. All you needed was a big, burly, kind of quick-footed guy to stay with the Kansas's big man. Because the Kansas big man wasn't great. He was just bigger and stronger than the Carolina guy. Because the Carolina guy was skinny. He was just a shooter, really good shooter. But he did not belong on the block. So as soon as they saw that guy, as soon as they saw your big man go out, the Tar Heel big man go out, I would just punish you. Like Shaq says, barbecue chicken. So that's what I would do. So Hubert had a little bit to do, and it might not be Hubert. It might just be the development staff, the recruitment. But you got to have a backup center. You got to have somebody big and burly.
Hey, John, hold on. Let me say this to you, brother. And I hear what you're saying. But it's easy to say that, but they did that getting to the championship. All right, so here's my point, because other than their big man being hurt the previous game, they pretty much had the same team, right? And they got to the championship. They beat Duke twice down the stretch, right? The same thing. Here's what I can tell you. And I hear what you're saying. All right, it comes down to this. The players make plays. All right, there were times out there when I watched them. The problem wasn't that they couldn't guard the big man. The problem, they couldn't guard them guards. Because the big man became relevant when you started worrying about the penetration that was going on, that was leading to the kickouts, that was leading to the 3 points, that made you have to stay wide, that made the big man relevant. I saw in the second half, the biggest problem that they had was not the big guy. They couldn't contain the ball handler.
Yeah.
They were breaking the defense down way too much. There was one time they drove all the way down to the and kicked it back to the corner for a 3.
Yeah.
They were getting paint touches more in the second half than they did in the first half, and there's where the offense changed.
That's a good point. I can agree with that. Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. Todd, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Rico, come to you next. See, Todd?
Yeah.
Talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
I mean, I'm in agreement with what Terry said. I mean, and that's what it looked like at the end of that. You know.
So basically, you're saying we was bums in the second half.
Hey, we didn't play our best game, man.
No. I used to hear one of those guys. I don't know if it was Charles Barkley and them. Sometimes you just gotta give credit to the offensive team. I mean, Kansas did what Kansas needed to do.
Yeah, and the other thing that they had better all around athlete.
If they'd have started the game off better, we wouldn't be talking about the loss of the league. But they're like, man, it was a great game because Kansas was way off.
Yep.
You just never seen them be that off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so they seem to be more affected by the big part of the game than North Carolina was. And North Carolina was actually hot. So you had one team hot, the other team cold, and that's where the margin was. But once Kansas came out and said, all right, we coming to play, there was no stopping that train.
I wonder what the halftime speech was, man. What did their coach say to them at halftime? That had to be amazing because they lit a fire within them, man, and they came out, man, thinking they could not lose. They just came out thinking they couldn't lose.
Yeah, they had a coach. They had a coach who's been there before.
Been there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Been there.
Yeah.
He said, hey, yo, we just haven't played our game. We got a whole second half. All we got to do is chip away at it. We don't get it all at once. And they didn't come out just jacking shots up.
Mm-hmm.
They came out just locking down defense and chipped
Yeah.
away at it. And while they chipped away at it, if y'all remember, the first 4 or 5 shots that North Carolina took were threes, and you add that with the turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
The momentum changed quick. It wasn't a methodical. It was so quick.
It was quick.
Mhm.
Before you even know it, was like, man, where was the timeout? It happened too fast.
See, that momentum is the human factor.
Yeah.
That human factor of being nervous and making turnovers, or throwing passes to somebody and they ain't looking because he trying to hurry up and get down court because these boys, they coming out playing, they charging right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one thing I did pick up from this, first off, Kansas has been there so many times and lost. Like I said, so he's been there before. And on top of that, they were able to game plan and tell the guards, okay, since you don't do it on your own, because some players can pick it up on their own what they need to do to beat their guy. But that second half, that's the whole purpose of the second half, to make adjustments. Have your coach say, look, beat them off the dribble. Take 2 steps to pass. Set this up. You set up different plays. You got more time during the half. So those adjustments that were made, they're harder for the team that's winning to make. Because the team that's winning is what they're doing is working. So what the few adjustments you can make is probably totally different than the adjustments that the losing team is making.
Yeah.
So they came in with a whole different outlook to expose more things that North Carolina didn't expect them to expose.
Yeah.
That the other coaches had noticed. So I mean, but I did realize what I took from this is that the Hubert Davis era is going to be something serious.
Yeah, he's going to get recruiting back to the Tar Heels. We're going to be just fine. I'm going to add one thing to that, too. What I thought, gentlemen, I think Love started forcing his game. He had such a good tournament and wasn't on in that championship game. He was never on. He was never on in the game all night long.
He struggled.
He started forcing his game, trying to make something happen.
1 for 8 from the 3-point line.
1 for 8 from the. There you go.
1 for 8.
Look, 6 of those shots could have been trying to get to the hole and trying to get to the line.
Yeah.
His game got off track. I think he was
and one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up with Terry real quick though, talking about the matchup situation again. So a coach's job is to look at matchups, right? So when I brought up the topic about the big man for UNC versus the backup big man for UNC versus the starting big man for Kansas, you don't think that the coach should have made the proper adjustments in that situation to prevent the skinny stretch four from guarding the big, powerful five center for Kansas, because that's all what a coach is supposed to do. Even if you put somebody that shouldn't even be in the game in, just a big body, you know. So, you know, I wanted to follow up on that point to see, like, a coach.
No,
like,
I wasn't saying your point wasn't valid. I was saying that the biggest problem they had was not being able to contain those guards, because had they contained the guards, then you could have schemed that way.
Yeah.
But see, when you coming off there and they're breaking you down,
they're breaking.
You gotta help.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And once you started softening that up, now they having to stay home, which opened it up for the big man to go one-on-one. You had to pick your poison.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so it all imploded so fast that even when he called the timeout, what was his suggestion? You were already broken. And so now it was like, how do we salvage what we have left?
Yeah.
And now you're already off your game because your big man is already hurt. Your go-to guy is struggling. You feel me? I don't think there was a whole lot he could have done, even if he called all his timeouts.
Panic mode. Panic mode kicked in.
Because the players were making the decisions out there that I know Hubert didn't tell them to make.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been on that sideline, bro. Sometimes I know I was in the stands before I got into the coaching seat, criticizing my own twin brother about his substitution pattern, about what defense he was running, about what offense. I'm serious. It was so bad that people would look at me like, "Ain't that your brother?" I was like, yeah. And then I got down on the sideline over at Westwood. I'm not lying to you. Halfway through the season, I called my brother up and say, "Man, I'm sorry. I apologize to him. I apologize to every coach I ever met that I ever criticized, because it's different when you're on that sideline. Because when you're a player, you can go out there and lock down on somebody. Right. Or you can go there and say, throw me the ball in the hole so I can get scored, or you could do something about it. On that sideline, you're the most powerless person. Right. Because you be going like, all right, he ain't getting it done. Then you go put somebody in. There's a reason why that guy didn't start or play much.
That's true.
Because he wasn't showing it in practice. He wasn't getting it done during the season.
He's not better. He's just not better.
He's just not better. And look, not only that, when it comes down to development, seriously, it's a relationship. You know, somebody says something, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. Man, there are some kids that are just content to get where they're going and don't want to put more work when you willing to be in the gym, you willing to go out the extra mile, but you get there and then they half-heartedly go at it. Sometimes, man, I think coaches get way too much credit and way too much blame.
Yeah,
absolutely. Let's switch it up for a second, man. And I don't know, this is how the ball bounces, so we're going to go to a totally different sport right now. And I want to know what y'all think about Tiger's comeback, man. Yeah, I see Tiger, man, and a lot of time when I talk to people about this, I don't get into his personal life. His personal life, that's his personal life, but his professional life, to be able to go back to the Masters, man, and play. Now, did he win? Absolutely, he did not win, but to go through what he went through, John, and to be able to get out there and compete again, what does that say about him, man?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I separate the art from the artist too, right? So whatever he does in his personal life, I can separate that.
Yeah.
So as an athlete, I look at the comebacks that he's made from all the injuries, and even what he did in his personal life, the psychological comeback that he had to make, losing your wife, your kids are not in the house every day anymore, all of that. So I give him credit as on the athletic side for what he had to do to get back to where he is now, even with the car accident, the leg issue, all of that. I just give him credit. That just shows how professional athletes are just different than the average person, because they can just lock in and focus and get back. Well, I don't think Tiger will never get back to the level he was, right? But just to get back to a competitive level after everything he's gone through, that he's put himself through, he did that to himself. But I think looking at where he's at now and what he might do in the next coming championships, the next couple of tours. I just applaud him, man, because as like he had every reason to hang it up. He had every excuse to say, I don't want to do this anymore. My leg is messed up. My kids are getting older. You know, I got to do this. I got to do that. He had every reason, but he locked in, and he's back at it. I don't know how good he's gonna do in next couple years, next couple tournaments, but I give him all the credit in the world, man, for getting back on track and competing with these young boys. Because the best guys on the tour, these young boys are what, 25, 27, and he's out there, you know, mid 40s with, you know, still muscular, still looking good, still keeping in shape with the young boys. So, you know, I give him all the credit in the world, man.
Absolutely. Rico, what do you say to that, man? The fact that he's, and like I said, personal life aside, but the fact that he was able to actually get out there and compete. He didn't just go over there and roll. He didn't just roll over. He competed, man. What do you say to that?
I mean, you can't do nothing but commend him for that. You know, I really respect him for being able to mentally get back to that point. Overcoming everything that he went through. I mean, because that's a heck of a process, the rehab that he had to go through, you know. So as a fan, I'm very happy that he was able to get back out there and play and entertain, so we can see him, you know, do his thing. As a man, I hope he matures or evolves to a point to where he stops getting in these situations. Because once again, even though he's in his mid 40s, he's risking his potential to be greater. He's already risked a lot of greatness. He's lost a lot of opportunities to have more championships under his belt. I mean, you know, just think about some of the things he was going through mentally: a divorce, cheating, drunk driving, all of this stuff he had to take breaks for. And it cost him to, it really cost him from actually maybe putting the word of GOAT of golf out of reach. I mean, he could have put it out of reach. So I mean, you know, it's a lot of what else that can happen with athletes. You know, what if Muhammad Ali would have never did certain things? What if Mike Tyson would have never? What if so I mean, you know, we you know, in life, we realize as humans we're not going to be able to see what we want as fans, but we still got to appreciate the human factor of these people, because sometimes they're going to fail. Sometimes they're not going to be able to perform and make us happy, entertaining us.
That's good. That's good. See, Todd, what's on your heart, brother? Let's talk about Tiger Woods.
Hey, man. Hey, that's Tiger Woods, man. Y'all know Tiger Woods thought he could win that tournament. You know, Tiger thought he really had a shot to win that tournament, man. If you listen to Tiger talk after day one of that tournament, Tiger thought he was going to do the week. He was going to feel a little bit better. He was going to play a little bit better. He said he just need to keep himself in contention. He thought that, and as far as that GOAT debate, man, I'm thinking Tiger got, when he went down there and beat them boys by 21 shots at the mouth, I think that ended the GOAT debate. You know, we'll see how it goes for Tiger from here, man. You know, when you have a bunch of back surgeries and stuff like that, man, and then you come back and have an accident where you break some leg and all that stuff, and you got to get reconstructed, and the rehab process. Most people in life don't even like to go through the rehab. That's what people give up at. So I give him credit for that, because we know he ain't needed no money. You know he ain't needed no money. So, you know, he still got a love for the game to go through the process of getting back to being able to play the game. So I commend him for that.
Good deal. Good deal. Antoine, how you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing fine today. Sorry I was late, just traffic and stuff.
I understand, brothers. It's good to have you. Good to have you. We're talking right now about Tiger Woods and his personal life aside. You know, we're not going to talk about his personal life, but the fact that and Terry, I'm keeping you last because I know you got a lot to say on this. Because I saw how you lit up when I said Tiger Woods. But my thing is that he's actually able to get out there. That he's actually get out there and play, not only play but compete in the Masters yesterday. What does that say about Tiger?
He's determined. I'm 48, about to be 49, and I believe he's 46. To be in a major accident and to come back is remarkable. For him to have to walk the golf course and play at a high level is remarkable. Even his score this week is people need to realize he's 46 and coming off a major accident. It's what he did is a good accomplishment. I wish he would have won personally. I like to see him win. Believe it or not, it still does a lot for our people, but I'm just glad to see him out there, and I hope he wins the Open.
Absolutely, absolutely. Terry, talk to me, brother.
Well, I did have a lot to say, man. For one, I'm not an underdog kind of person. I don't root for the underdog. I appreciate greatness in anything, because the average Joe will not do what great people do.
Exactly.
They're all human beings. Some people are gifted beyond measure to do things without effort. But greatness thinks completely different from everybody else. Yeah, Tiger expected to win. He said he wouldn't even played if he didn't think he could win.
Yeah.
There are some people who just content to be a pro, content to make teams, content to be in a championship. Great people ain't content for nothing. All right. That being said, I ache every day. Just bone on bone knees, bad back, bad hip, bad shoulder, bad. I ache every day. I don't take pills for pain because I've adjusted to pain. All right. I've played broken, torn stuff. That's what we used to do back in the day, before they start paying you all this crazy money to say, hey, I ain't playing and waste my money. But I want to say this. I don't care about golf. I don't even play golf. But I watch them play.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people who don't care about golf watch them play. Their ratings go through the roof every time this man decides he's going to tee up. All right. And he almost lost that leg.
Yeah.
So what I want to say, before I was, I'm just amazed that people don't talk about this man's resiliency. They'll talk about all his flaws, and he's a human being. He's flawed like all of us. It's just he's on the grand stage. Everybody has done a lot of what he's done. We're just not on the grand stage. I want to say this, John. It's not about maturity, because he went through maturity after he lost his father, and he started going through some stuff. A lot of people don't understand. It's just like what happened with Mike Tyson. When you lose that pillar, because when you were a child, like Michael Jackson, when you are a child star early on, you don't have a childhood. It's impossible to be mature when you don't ever even have a childhood, when you have always been inspired. All you got to do is look at anybody that's been a child star in anything, they struggle, right? So what I want to say, what I want to focus on, is this man's resiliency to overcome major injuries, family stuff, all kinds of scrutiny. And don't worry, even though he married a white lady, he was still a nigger to a lot of folk. To break barriers in that doggone Masters and in that sport to where they loved him. Bro, all I can tell you is he is in that category with the Muhammad Ali's. People don't want to give it to him because he's a very smart guy and he played at that level. But let me tell you, when you have to go through what you go through and do what you do and still be on top, and to come back from something that nobody who expected him to come back after that. And then not only just to go up there, he didn't just make a cameo. Dude, he was there.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can see the limp. You can see he was struggling. And all people wanted to know is, could he walk the course? It wasn't even about how well he played. Can he walk the course? Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Hey, Garcia did. What was that? Garcia had to do the cart and had to lobby to do that because he had some issue. He ain't tough. Tiger was tough. So I would want to kind of put like this. He is my dude based on what I know this man went through to come back there and be still on the last day, he made the cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all.
Exactly.
I appreciate greatness, and great people don't think like us.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we be great.
Mhm. Absolutely. We got 3 minutes before we get ready to get out of here, man. It's been a great broadcast, and this is How the Ball Bounces. We're here every Monday from 6 o'clock until 7 o'clock. We think we talked about maybe extending it a little longer because we got so much we could have covered today, man. But I wanted to get quite a few things in. We got John and Antoine with us for the first time. Definitely appreciate you all being here. Hope you all had a good time, and certainly hope you all will come back and join us again.
Hey,
Yes.
Scrap.
Oh, okay. I thought he was talking to me.
Hey, man, we all got family going on, bro.
This is live, brother. This is live. This is live. I just see it like that. This is live. But John, what's on your heart before we get out of here, brother?
Man, I'm ready for the NBA play-in tournament.
Yes.
I'm ready for the NBA playoffs. I am amped up for it. The NCAA tournament was amazing. The Final Four was awesome. Despite what y'all say, y'all Tar Heel people, but I am hyped up for the NBA. Yeah, I'm hyped up for the NBA playoffs. It's the best time of the year for me, man. I'm a huge basketball fan. I get 6-7 games a day for the first round. It is just fantastic, man. And that's kind of what's on my mind, and kind of what's like in the immediate right now, what's going on in my mind with sports and my heart with sports, man. So, but yeah, I want to thank everybody for sharing your thoughts and let me come on with you guys. So I appreciate that too.
Okay. Now you coming back with us?
Oh, absolutely, man. Hey, I got to battle Terry again, man. We got to go at it some more, man. Look, all right, I'm ready.
Hey, look. When they on ESPN going back and forth, see, this is not manufactured. This is us keeping it 100. See, this is real talk. We debate, but we ain't hate.
No, ain't no hate. That's true. Real talk.
And then next week we can talk about the soft Ben Simmons.
Oh, that's a good one.
Some might think he did the right thing, but how many of us think he kind of punked out of Philadelphia? I hate to use the word punk because that's not I'm exposing my toxic masculinity right now, but I think it was a punk move. I think if you're a star, bona fide star, whatever you want to call yourself, if people say it's your fault, you come back and you prove them wrong. You don't cower and leave.
And another thing I want to talk about next week, I want to hear your heart on the fact that what does not making the playoffs due to LeBron's legacy? What does it do? Because people say he want to be in the category of being the GOAT, and the GOAT have to make the playoffs. It's what they tell me. I don't know, man. Maybe y'all might feel a little differently. I see you over there, Rico. You ready? You ready for this one already?
Yeah, especially when you put teams together like that, man. The team that he had, man. Come on, man.
I'm gonna throw a grenade. Well, GOAT don't go off and play baseball either.
You did it.
Wow.
That GOAT did.
No, he only did that so somebody else can get a championship.
Yeah,
I say that the GOAT will go off and play baseball if he know he could come back.
The real GOAT will play baseball.
He only did that to David Stern. Said, "Hey, you need to go away for a little bit, get rid of the gambling charge."
The gambling situation, yeah.
But I'm on the note though, y'all. Tiger Woods did win the check for the most popular golf player on tour last year. Didn't play in one round, won $8 million, being the most popular player on the tour, and didn't play in one match.
Wow. Listen, this is
he's the GOAT. That's the GOAT right there. If you can get $8 million, ain't got to
now see Todd. Every time I go to try to close the show, you're gonna start another conversation. Now,
all right.
How you doing that, brother?
Look, hold on. You gotta think about it though, Raheem. All these sports going on. You could take an hour just for NBA itself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you try to do it once a week, and we missing out on all this good MMA.
Yeah.
You know I'm enjoying it. There's a lot of stuff we gonna miss out on once a week for 1 hour. So I mean, it's gonna be some overlap. There's gonna be some little overtime going on, man, because there's too many sports going on for us to just.
He brought up Ben Simmons around the corner.
Come on, man.
Exactly. Well, like I said, the conversation has been out there to extend it for 2 hours. I'm available, but I'm going to be respectful of all y'all time as well. So we will have that discussion and just see how it goes. Maybe we can extend it from 6 to 8. So let's just see how that plays out. And if y'all are available, I am as well. Because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be covered. There's a lot of stuff that we don't get a chance to cover because of time. But let's just see.
Well, let me tell y'all, man. Listen, honestly, it's an honor to be on here, man. You guys, I mean, I play the sport and everything. I'm not into sports like that, but I learn a lot listening to you guys because, when you into sports like you guys are, who can kind of go across the grand spectrum of sports, I appreciate people who are real fans, not somebody that's casual. You know what I mean? And not only that, you can talk about sports and have some substance. Them talking heads that be on a radio, some of them might be like, man, yo, get out of the YMCA. You don't know what you're talking about. So I appreciate y'all, man, on this platform.
Likewise, brother.
Right.
And this is how the ball bounces. This is how the ball bounces. Hey Terry, I'm gonna see can I get Kev on here in a couple of weeks, man.
Oh boy, y'all better get ready, bro. That dude there now. You hold on. I was wondering where he was at. Y'all break up? Y'all had a fight?
No, NBA, man. He deep in the saddle with NBA, man. He's deep in the saddle. I talked to him about a week and a half ago. He was in Miami. Then I talked to him a couple of days later. He was in LA. I was like, man, look, do you sleep, brother?
Yeah.
That dude, he's all over the place, man. He's heavy in NBA. He's heavy and Terry is knowledgeable. I'm gonna say this, then we're gonna get out of here. As knowledgeable as Terry is, and Terry knows so much about the NBA. He called Kevin the encyclopedia.
No, I'm not lying, yo. I'm not lying, man. That's why I say I got appreciation for you guys who are into sports like that because I played it and I kind of focused on the one that I blessed in. But when you're into sports and you know your history, dude, I'm tuned in. And so he is an encyclopedia. Y'all gonna find out when he joined us.
Okay,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to that for sure. Yeah.
But I want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and How the Ball Bounces to be a part of your evening. It is now 7:04. You're about to exit How the Ball Bounces. But before you do, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Then we shine some of this light on you from How the Ball Bounces. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. Get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. Be blessed. And please, please, please enjoy your sports.
All right.